Like whiskey? Nope.
Not dog approved.
Hot doggy approved.
Tonight, we're drinking something pretty special. This is our substitute or our replacement for our New Year's pour, which was Pappy 15.
Upgrade.
Yeah, huge upgrade. So I'm not gonna tease it out too much. So tonight we are drinking Old Carter batch barrel 24, which is a super small batch. I think it was only 150 bottles, and it is a 14-year-old Old Carter, which is sourced. So I'm thinking Barton, but this was released day after Thanksgiving. Yes, Black Friday, I go bourbon shopping or beer shopping. Goose Island makes some amazing things. But they had this, so I went down there. So expensive. Chuck wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it, so we split it. So half of it's his, half of it's mine. So
it looks like your half's about gone.
Yeah, yeah, you got some samples too, sir. I think it came out to be $375 if I remember right, after taxes, everything like that. So it was up there.
Most expensive bourbon on your shelf?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no, because it's only half mine, but it's still very close to the most expensive bourbon on the shelf, even at only half mine. So we really have never struck out with Old Carter. I was already in line before they told me the price, which was smart on their part, and I had stood out there for an hour, so I was almost. And then they gave me a sample, and I just gave them my money. So thank you. So
I'll take two.
Yeah, I almost did. That was so close. There were people actually circling back in line, going for a second. I didn't want divorced and murdered at the same time, so she could bring back life and do the same thing again. So yeah. So we're going to see how it is. See if it is worth the price. So that knows.
Yeah, it's funny that, like you said, it's replacing our Pappy 15 for our New Year's pour. Because, like, that to me, Pappy is very, especially the 15 is oaky. We haven't had the 20 or 23, but the 15 is a pleasant oakiness. And this was like just hits you with the oak on the front side. But to me, it not necessarily the weeded products, but it gives you that cherry note that I get out of Buffalo Trace as well.
Oh yeah, it's got a big cherry note, and then it's oak and leather.
Yeah, that's what I like. It's got more of the oak, or like a darker oak, and then with the maybe mixed with the leather. That combination gives it this depth and robustness that you just picture yourself sitting not in a living room, in a darkened study in my tweed jacket.
Yeah, you're in an old study with leather chairs, tweed jacket, and somebody is doing some pipe smoking with cherry tobacco. Mm. That's exactly what this is.
Wow.
I
love barrel proof bourbon. My goodness. This just like that creaminess. This is one thing as I was developing my bourbon palate, and even like, because I like coffee as well, so they talk about mouthfeel in coffees. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's all liquid. But then you start to have some of these barrel proof bourbons, especially, it's like you really feel that. It's a creaminess to that texture, its depth, its body. And this has got it. It just coats that palate initially.
Yeah, this is one of those, it hits everywhere on the palate. It hits everywhere on the taste buds. It's almost like just liquid caramel because it's so thick. It's definitely like when you put milk chocolate in your mouth and you just let it melt and it just covers everything. That's what you've got. And it's just so full of flavor.
So full of flavor. Yeah. I mean, that cherry that you were picking up in the nose kind of comes through in there. You get this creamy vanilla-ness that kind of coated the mouth. I get these undertones of allspice, That's
Yeah. Yep. And then when it transitions to the finish, like there is no pause, lack, dip, anything. It just continues the crescendo. And all those flavors come into the finish, which is just crazy because a lot of times you get one or two notes that just overpower the finish and the burn and the pepper. And you get the cherry in the finish. You get the oak, the tobacco. And then as soon as that kind of goes away, then more of the peppery and the spice and the allspice come in. And then at the end, you're just left with that nice little buzz in your throat. And then on the jawline, it's everything you could ever want in a bourbon.
It is. And that finish is delightful. Maybe Brian would knock it down because that powerful rye spice / ethanol doesn't hit you quite as fast. But it's like perfectly balanced. Those flavors still continue to linger through. You get that pepper kind of comes up at the end, but it doesn't overpower those flavor notes that are lingering from the palate. It's wow.
I think rating this is going to be very interesting, and I'm excited. So I'm going to start off with the nose. I'm going to go 4.5.
Okay, I would have been at a 4. I think it's good, but that to me is maybe the only weak point. But maybe it's just my nose tonight. I don't know.
I mean, I just get so much in the nose.
It's weird for you to. I mean, it's got to be a great nose for you to rate it as 4.5.
Yeah. It's so good. So you're gonna go 4. You're gonna go 4.5.
We're gonna go 4.25 because I said 4,
okay.
But then I master a record, so I get to call it 4.25.
All right, 4.25. All right, so palate. I'm excited to see where you go with this one because I know where I want to go.
You know where you.
It's the one. It is the one.
5?
Yeah.
I mean, in my best of, when I was rating those, like I think I gave my first 5 on the nose. I don't think I gave a 5 on a palate.
I honestly don't know how you could have a better palate.
You can have a different palate.
Yeah.
It can be different. It can be a different combination of flavors, but I don't think you can have it better.
No. I mean, I love bourbon. I love the differences in bourbon. If they'd said, like, you know, you can only pick one bottle of bourbon for the rest of your life and you get it at $100 a bottle or whatever.
Yes.
I
haven't had every bottle of bourbon on the earth, but
I would give up all the other bourbon if I had an infinite supply of this.
Oh, that caveat. I was like, I'll take the rest of yours if you're just giving it up for that.
No.
I'll buy you out at $250. It's fine.
Infinite.
Oh, infinite.
Yep. Like every time I bought a bottle of bourbon, it just transformed into this. Like your Midas. Everything you touch is gold. Everything you grab bourbon-wise just transforms into this.
That would be amazing. Talk about a superpower.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
All right. So I say 5. You say
5.
5. All right. So we got our first 5.
First 5. First 5 on the channel. This is monumental. Over 100 videos in. This is the first time, folks.
Yeah. It's that good. And finish?
I mean, I don't know how you get a better finish. I mean, so historically, like that's going back to the Bardstown Copper and Kings is one of my favorite bourbons of all time. Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I go 4.5. There's something out there better, but
yeah, that's where I was. It's a great finish, superb finish. But the palate, there was just something about it that without a doubt, you just knew this is super special. I don't get that on the finish. Like I get amazing, really, really good, rarefied air, but there's not that special note that just screams, this is it.
I think it's just so well balanced. And that's true through the whole bourbon, but even in the finish, it's just really well balanced with its flavor components and the spice. Neither of them are overpowering. Even being a single barrel proof, like the that ethanol isn't overpowering at all, and so it lets those flavors shine. You could have told me this was 105 proof, and I would believe you.
118.5.
Yeah.
So it's up there. All right. So the final question is juice versus squeeze.
Yes. I'm just sad I didn't have you buy another bottle. I would have bought you a bottle. Shoot.
Yeah, I know.
And then we would have made Brian jump in a pool, and then I'd drink his bottle.
And sharks while we drink and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate the times we live in because bourbon has gotten big. I think if it wasn't as big of a boom as it is right now, you would probably find this for $150 pre-bourbon boom. But this is the time we live in right now, and so you're talking, if you want a high-quality 14-year-old bourbon from a small distillery that is well known for picking honey barrels, you're talking the $300 range, $250 to $300 range. They know what they have, and they're willing to price it, and people line up to buy it. Partly because they didn't tell us what the price was ahead of time. That's why some people left, and everything like that. So, like, for me, is it worth $375? Yes. Am I happy about spending that much? No. So I think
let me ask you this. I mean, people hunt for Pappy for the name and the quality is good. Like we like the Pappy 15. That's a great pour. Which would you rather have?
Yeah, so we can compare it to Pappy 23 retails at about $325, $350.
I'm not talking retail though, because
right,
there are a few of us that get the call once a year from our liquor store and get those opportunities. But for the most people, if you're buying Pappy or those blank, throw in George T. Stagg, throw in the B-Tech collection.
Yeah,
you're not buying that retail.
Right, I get what you're saying. Well, so what I'm even saying is, and that's where it's going to answer your question too. Pappy at retail at $325 and this at retail at $375. I'm just going to buy this. Like, I'm not even going to buy the Pappy. Because this is way better. Without a doubt, without a question, this is way better. And like you're saying, you're never going to find Pappy 23 at that price. You're never going to find all those stuff. So I guess where this bottle falls in, which is probably what they're trying to do, which is quit buying Buffalo Trace products at crazy prices on the secondary and buy this instead, which you can probably find in Old Carter. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be nearly as hard as that. I mean, people buy Weller Full Proof for $375 on the secondary all the time.
I buy this.
You could buy this, and it's going to be way better.
Yeah, more available, I guess, probably on the Pappy, or on the Weller Full Proof, but
right. So, I mean, I think that's where this bottle falls in, and that's probably what they realize is people are spending crazy money on the secondary for good bourbon, but it's good at $100. You really have to sit here and try to decide, is this good for $375? Because it's like, I'm not super sad I spent that much money. I'm just sad that it cost that much money to get that quality bourbon, because that's where we've moved the market to. When I know 10 years ago, when I wasn't into bourbon, that this was like $150 and sitting on the shelf all day long. So it's a sign of the times, but
it is a sign of the times, and some of us haven't adjusted yet to today's prices or how they're the demand and the new pricing as according. I mean, to caveat or to go along with this, it's like I've spent $250 on bourbons that I wouldn't pay $50 for.
Mm-hmm.
One was in your biggest disappointment of 2021, but. I'm even thinking of my beloved barrel, my barrel 15. Like,
yeah, oh yeah, this blows all of those out of the water without.
So in that case, it's like we spend. I say we, like bourbon lovers, like we're spending $150 to $250 on bottles that aren't worth that. And if you just wouldn't have bought two of those, you can buy the Old Carter.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's the answer to the question at the end is every year you're going to splurge on one bottle. Everybody does it. If you want to lie because your wife is watching right now, or we don't judge. If your husband's watching, because bourbon's for everybody. And you don't have an Old Carter, I recommend you splurging on an Old Carter. We really haven't been that disappointed with any of them as much as we have with other bottles. Are some of them not as good as others? Yes, without a doubt. And that's just the nature of the beast with them sourcing and single barrels and everything like that. But you're going to be happier 9 out of 10 times with the Old Carter than you would with something else. And for the love of God, don't buy Blue Run. Buy the Old Carter. Thank
Message
you.
of the day.
That's my soapbox. Let us know what you think below. Have you tried an Old Carter yet, or have you been scared to because of the price, which we completely understand, and everything like that. But, man, this one right here is something special. And we'll see if Brian ever makes it to a New Year's celebration again, because my wife tried this, and her response was, this bottle will never be shipped for samples or anything like that because it's too dang good. So that's why it only gets opened on New Year's now.
Heather's spoken.
Yep. So, once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Stay neat.